It's not a game anymore. You came after a man's money. You came after a man's reputation, and you came after a man's life. Now it's time to put up or shut your stupid mouths. We would all love for you to put up a shred of proof. But that proof now, because you were so stupid in the beginning, because you were so adamant about destroying someone, now that proof is going to come with the legal process, and you're going to have to sit under oath and answer every single question. And oh my God, you better have good answers, or those pants are dropping and you're getting bent over, and you know it.
As the story of Vic Mignogna and the sexual allegations against him continue, several of the exact voice actors in which accused Vic Mignogna of said assault are still going at it on Twitter and having to blame fans, blame YouTubers, and more importantly having to backlash in the recent live stream, which featured Toye, who is going to be representing Todd Hapercorn and Vic Mignogna against the accusers, having to accuse them of sexual assault and rape. However, those very same individuals are going on Twitter and not only blaming fans for making this worse, but also blaming YouTubers for twisting up lies and basically trying to backpedal in their defense now that lawsuits are being handed out. As once more, before we begin, if you guys are new to this channel and of course love anime and Dragon Ball alongside want to be up to date with all the latest involving Vic Mignogna, Monica Rial, Jamie Marchi, Toye, and the entire situation, then be sure to go on ahead and punch that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to never miss a single upload and to be up to date with all latest news and information, along with checking out and subscribing to my primary channel, Unreal and Gaming, where on there we are going to be covering lots of Dragon Ball content, anime, and gaming, so make sure you guys go on ahead and check that channel out over there, alongside following me on Twitter at Unreal and Gaming for all the latest updates, including if you guys have any articles and or pictures to tag me in or share with me, be sure to go on ahead and follow me on Twitter, as Jamie Marchi had a lot to say having to go on Twitter following Nick Rakita's live stream, as an individual that goes by the name of Mr. Claymore went on to tweet at Jamie and having to state, and I quote, "It's not a threat if it happens though. That is if you consider a defamation suit a threat." As Jamie Marchi went on to reply, as I quote, "It's not defamation if it's true, and encouraging harassment is encouraging harassment," as of course Jamie is making the insinuation that Nick was basically encouraging harassment in his stream towards Jamie and said individuals. As Mr. goes on to continue, "They literally just mentioned you on stream. It's still airing. They said it's going to be a sad day in court since you publicly stated that you have no evidence. If you don't want to seek legal counsel, that's up to you." As Jamie continues, "Wow, they didn't even get that right." As an individual that goes by the name of Forky responds to Jamie in having to state, and I quote, "Actually, as stated multiple times by multiple people, truth is not a defense in Texas. You can still be guilty of defaming someone even if the information is true." As of course Forky continues, he goes on to state, and I quote, "At what point do you actually take a lawsuit seriously? Because you're giving Toye so much ammunition that it's almost unfair." As Jamie goes on, "Ammunition like what?" As Mr. Claymore responds, saying you want Vic's head and balls and the launching of a cyber attack is ammunition. As Jamie goes on to play dumb, she goes on to respond, "Launching a cyber attack?" As an individual that goes by the name of Cade responds, "All your tweets about the case." As Jamie goes on, "What tweets?" So of course Jamie here is playing dumb in the fact that she's acting like she never called for Vic Mignogna's head and balls to be placed on a plate, as if she never encouraged people to disregard those that are asking questions and treating them like complete pieces of garbage. So for Jamie to play dumb is not fair, considering the fact that 1 month ago she went on a Twitter tirade basically calling for the Vic Mignogna supporters in being looked down upon just because they're quote defending someone of said accusations, which again isn't fair or right to do, but it continues. As another individual by the name of Kilo goes on to respond, "You should be," referencing being scared of a lawsuit, as he continues, "If you can't can't prove anything, it's just a statement. Everyone will still question you. As Cade goes on, and then there will be cross-examination to make sure it's a true fact. And that requires physical or photographic evidence, and well, as of course Jamie continues, I'm not worried, still not worried. As Anime OP goes on to respond, although you should be, I mean, your career is technically on the line as well as you are one of the accusers. Honestly, that's kind of why you were close to being kicked from anime cons. As Jamie Marchi continues, not worried. As Jiren the Grey goes on to respond, wow, you must be confident with statements that have been debunked already. As Jamie Marchi condescendingly replies, debunked by YouTubers I presume? Nah, I'm good. Once again, taking shots at YouTubers, taking shots at Yellow Flash, Emish is Live, Nick Rakita, Umbrella Guy, and everyone else that have been covering the situation involving Jamie, involving Monica, in having to condescendingly say, well, no, YouTubers are wrong, anyone that questions me is wrong, anyone that gives me any advice is wrong, I'm not going to take anyone's advice or listen to anyone because you're all wrong. Which basically you guys can go back and looking at my previous videos to see that for yourselves. But aside from Jamie Marchi, Monica Rial also had something to add on Twitter, as an individual that goes by the name of Freya went on to comment on Monica's post and having to state, and I quote, "Damn, you guys are so full of hate, blinded by your success, shunning those that disagree. It's a shame as humans we must learn to forgive by blocking those that challenge you. How will you ever grow? So much for saving lives. Dragon Ball Z had saved me from killing myself." As Monica Rial went on to reply, as I quote, "I'm not going to apologize for protecting myself. I have asked people to stop harassing me, yet they still come to my Twitter to post messages about someone who sexually assaulted me. I have every right to block them." Once again, letting this individual know that she was sexually assaulted, as of course many people are going to be challenging this in court. Monica Rial still stands by the idea that she was assaulted by Vic Mignogna, which I do agree with Monica, she does have the right to block anyone that is harassing her, but for the most part, a lot of people are simply asking questions, and questions are not any form of harassment. However, when we head on over towards Jessie Pridemore's Twitter, it looked like she had taken down one of her posts from earlier, basically saying that Ty Beard was full of shit, as Jessie Pridemore goes on to state, as I quote, "Since people can't seem to follow tweets, Percy Tyrone Beard," which is Ty Beard, "said that he is representing Todd to sue me. He is not licensed here. Neither Todd nor I live in Texas. Therefore, the guy is full of shit." So Jessie immediately took this down without thinking twice that in fact this statement is completely false. Again, Miss Pridemore continued on Twitter, in which she had deleted every single one of these responses and posts, as she goes on to state, as I quote, "According to the newest stream, Ty is representing Todd to sue me," which he is. As Jessie continues to respond to someone, as an individual that goes by the name of, she goes on to tell Jessie, Nick Rakita explained that even if you're not in Texas, you can still be summoned to come to Texas to appear in court, and if you refuse to show up, you could be in a world of trouble. As Jessie goes on to reply to that comment, she goes on to add, "I'm apparently being sued by a person who doesn't live in Texas, so," as of course she continues, "the guy apparently is suing me. Todd doesn't live in Texas either. It also didn't happen in Texas. I was saying that tweet wasn't talking about Ty. Ty isn't licensed in my state, so good luck with that." As Jessie continues, "A lawyer not licensed in my state. Okay, buddy," basically telling people off about the case, as unironically enough, all of these tweets and replies have been immediately taken down by her. I wonder why. Which again, Nick isn't wrong about having to be summoned to show up in Texas for this specific case, but nonetheless guys, I leave you with this clip from Nick's live stream. I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below as to how you guys personally feel about this entire situation and where you guys stand when looking at the evidence objectively. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Once more, if you guys want to be up to date and in the loop with all latest news and information, hit that subscribe button, everybody. Turn on all notifications. Slap a like down below if you guys enjoyed. Also, follow me on Twitter at UnrealNetwork, and check out and subscribe to my main channel, UnrealNetwork, for more anime, gaming, and Dragon Ball related content. Thank you all once more, everybody. Check out Nick's channel. I will leave a link to his channel down below. And without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into the clip. Here we go.
Well, and of course, Craig Doherty, one of I call him our litigator emeritus. Craig is an extremely experienced trial lawyer. I believe he was president of the Texas Trial Lawyers Association at one point, board certified in civil trial. He's forgotten more about trial law than most lawyers will ever know. And he's kind of been our grand old man. Sorry, Craig, if you're watching this. We have a real depth of experience, and of course, I have friends who are litigators at other firms. I mean, we have friends and buddies, and we talk to them. And in fact, I've had a few conversations with friends of mine who are litigators in Dallas and other places, and I may even bring them into Vic's case depending on how complex the situation gets. So the idea that just because it doesn't say in giant, I guess 2-inch letters that we're litigators, that somehow we're not, that strikes me as more like wishful thinking than the facts.
I think I wouldn't dare accuse the other side of wishful thinking. The other side of this case has, of course, been in flat out denial from day one that any of this was actually happening. And outside of the context of this case, like let's be very clear, outside of the context of this case, do you have any comment as to why someone on the other side of one of these situations might think that there is no litigation coming?
Sure.
I have my thoughts, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, part of it is the cost of litigation. Most people simply, as you noted, most people can't afford lawyers. When someone has been completely ambushed and destroyed by surprise by this kind of thing, they go talk to a lawyer, and the lawyer says, "Well, give me a big chunk of the money that you've got left, and I'll see what I can do." Now, most people aren't going to do that. They don't have that's the worst time in their life, and they're scared for the future, and they're just not going to do it. There's the conventional wisdom too that you can't win defamation cases. That conventional wisdom is wrong. For one thing, a lot of no case is a cookie cutter case, right? When someone says you can't win such and such a kind of case, well, that's not true. Tell me the details of the case, and then I'll tell you. These people that are doing this kind of this Me Too stuff and all that, they're trying and convicting people by accusation alone. They're literally just hitting people out of the blue. And I guess one of the reasons they think they can't be held accountable is because, well, they largely haven't been. And that's unfortunate. The big problem to solve here is paying for the lawyers. We all have businesses we got to run. But if someone can afford a lawyer, or if you crowdfund it or whatever, that changes the equation immediately and dramatically. One of the advantages I guess you have when you're fighting this kind of thing is these people are shockingly open, and they're doing it out in public where it can never be taken down. I mean, the fact that you make your Twitter account private, that doesn't prevent us from archiving your tweets. I mean, discovery is crowdsourcing. Discovery is a major thing. I mean, we have thousands in one of the cases I'm in. We have thousands of friends and fans who are feeding us discovery constantly. I think these people are about to learn that in the real world, these actions do have consequences. The law has all the tools necessary to handle defamation and these kinds of things. And the thing that's aggravating is we have a system designed to assess whether or not someone is guilty of sexual assault, of simple assault, whatever it is. It's a system that has evolved over 3,000 years, and our system in the United States, in my opinion, is the best that we've ever come up with. It's very, it ensures due process for the accused. It ensures proper procedures so that everybody gets a fair shake. And yes, the burden of proof is on the accuser. Over 1,000 years of jurisprudence, we figured out that's the best way to run a legal system. And these Twitter brigade mobs have turned all that on their heads. I mean, literally, it's an accusation, and the defendant has no chance to defend himself.
Now, I have on the Twitter brigade thing, I have seen some people suggest that a person who may be on Twitter, who doesn't actually make any of the accusations themselves, but merely relays accusation after accusation after accusation, almost in what we might consider a coordinated fashion, and with the purpose behind their consistent relaying. And I mean, we're talking a very consistent relay. Almost, let's hypothetically say this person has openly stated that. Whoa. What's going on?
One of the main streets in town is right behind me.
Sure. Yeah, right. That's your ambulance radar. Don't you lie to me.
Right. Yeah. There it is. We've been busted. I'm sorry. I need to dispatch the ambulance chasers right now. Just okay. We're good.
But let's say there's a person hypothetically who is consistently relaying the stories of other people. Are they immune under Texas defamation law, since they're not alleging a false story? They're merely passing on, maybe hundreds of stories. How would that play out?
Yeah, I'm not aware of any defense that they could assert, like, well, I was just passing the story on. If you defame someone, you defame them. Whether you made the statement up or whether you simply repeated it, you've defamed them. There's also the conspiracy angle, which I think a lot of these brigades are blissfully unaware of. When two or more people get together, as you well know, Nick, and decide to do this, now you have a conspiracy, and that's a whole separate cause of action. These folks don't really apparently know anything about our legal system, because if they did, they wouldn't be behaving this way.
Now, am I right on the conspiracy? To prove conspiracy, you don't actually need to prove the underlying tort. You just need to prove that there's a more likely than not chance that an underlying tort could be brought, right? That's or more likely than not chance that it could succeed. You don't even need it to succeed for the conspiracy. Is that correct?
That's correct. Although, of course, if there's no actual tort, the damages, because in civil court, nobody goes to jail because of a civil lawsuit.
Right.
And the general remedy is money. One side has to give the other side money. So yes, you can sue them, but you do have to prove damages. And that's where Googling stuff really doesn't work so well. There's so many. Like any profession, there are so many nuances that you just can't put in a Google article. So much depends on the specifics of the case. And I find it interesting when folks will tell us, well, I read on Google that you can't do this. Well, for one thing, you won't know. It sounds kind of snarky. You won't know if you can do it until you try. Because the thing about our legal system that most folks don't realize is it was built for maximum fairness, and there's a trade-off. There's a tension, right? You can have fairness or you can have predictability, and those are ends of a continuum. So the fairer the legal system, the less predictable it is. The more predictable it is, the less fair it is. That's just one of those things. And so a lot of times, we'll look at a cause of action and say, yeah, I think we can prove that, but we won't, until we get into the case, we really don't know. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It's I didn't mean to step over you. It's about alleging sufficient, the way the legal system works is about alleging sufficient facts supported by what you can show now to get to the truth. People think that court's job is to punish another party or punish people for bad things. That's not actually true. The reality is the court's job is to find the correct factual scenario. And so all you need to do in a legal case is provide enough information to the court to say, there's enough here that we need to look further. We have a dispute about the facts. And if the facts go the way one party says they're going to go, then that means that damage has been done and the court needs to just go ahead and let you know. The court's not I mean, they are imposing damages, but that's not the way the system's designed. It's to actually let you know, okay, we've found out that there are these facts, it led to these damages, this person's culpable, and the amount of damage that was done was this, so they need to make them whole because that's justice. It's not the court punishing you, it's logic punishing you.